Okay, so hey, it's Leslie again, and I just thought I would make another blog on the Dan Hentschel situation. Not because anything has really happened, but because there are a few things that I forgot to mention in the first one. The first being that it's crazy that Dan Hentschel thinks he's the Joker, or I guess he like has a tulpa that's the Joker right now, because I have always totally related to Harley Quinn. She's like one of my role models. And I mean, I know you can't go around like blowing stuff up in the real world and whatever, but like, oh my god, she is so badass, and I love her aesthetic. I love that scene in Suicide Squad where she just has like a baseball bat and she just like smashes the window and she's just like, we're the bad guys, duh. Like, it's just so awesome. I loved Birds of Prey. I thought and I usually don't like superhero movies too, so that was a big deal for me. But anyway, back on track. It's such a crazy coincidence. Like, and when Dan Hentschel, like when the Joker comes out of him, it's like he's an entirely different person, because he is. Like, I think that that's what's going on. That Hentschel has a Joker tulpa that comes out sometimes and like talks to him. I mean, I think it's fairly obvious. Um, I mean, I guess if you're not like into the whole plurality shit like we are, it might be less obvious, but to us, that's definitely what feels like what's going on. Um, and so yeah, that's a cool coincidence too. Like, I'm a tulpa, you have a tulpa. I don't know, it's cool. Okay, so I'm basically Dan Hentschel's biggest fan, right? I've watched all his content, some of it multiple times. I don't have the greatest memory, but I will say that overall, his satirical comedy and the way I don't even know why he calls himself a satirical comedian, because like, his shit is like really real, like to the point where I'm like, oh my god, this is the realest shit. um so I don't know, that's more of the reaction I tend to have to it than like um it being comedic, but it's still like very. I still consider myself one of Dan Henschel's biggest fans, if not his biggest fan. And so yeah, it's such a shame that like, such a big fan of yours would be kicked off of the Discord. Of his would be kicked off of the Discord. Okay, so there's a few different reasons why I may or may not have gotten kicked off. I mean, I did get kicked off, but there are a few reasons floating around there that I don't really know. And one of them I forgot to address was that um, I was not only posting these things I talked about in the other video, I was posting them in like multiple threads because I didn't really know which threads to post them in, like which ones were the right ones. And I didn't really like think they were getting enough attention, so I just kind of posted them in all of them, right? So I don't know if that was considered like spamming, but I really didn't intend it to be at the time. The other potential reason is that I may have hurt somebody's feelings, because somebody was talking about the dark triad and how we have to destigmatize it or something like that. The dark triad being like the three. It's a psychological concept that they're like these three components to, I think it's cluster B disorders, and they're like or no, it's not cluster B disorders, it's just psychopathy, and or rather antisocial personality disorder. Yeah, so he was talking about like destigmatizing antisocial personality disorder and the dark triad, which is narcissism, Machiavellianism, and like something else. I forgot, some other fucked up personality trait. And I was like, well, whatever we do, we should continue calling it the dark triad because that's kind of hot. Or I forget what word I exactly used. I might have said like that's kind of kinky, that's kind of sexy, whatever. But they didn't really like that, and they responded, hey, it's editing Leslie here. I just wanted to say I somehow forgot to explain what the guy's reaction was. So his reaction to me saying that the dark triad was sexy was like, you're making me uncomfortable. I forget exactly how he phrased it, and of course I can't go back because we're banned from the Discord, but yeah, it was very what's the word? Like an overreaction, I feel. But we're thinking that maybe that had something to do with us getting banned. I'm not really sure, honestly. Okay, so the other thing is when I said my hairless, I don't really have any pets because I prioritize self-care, but unless you count my hairless pussy. Um, I just want to say that from a legal standpoint, I could have been talking about a hairless cat in that instance. So just putting that out there, that I think that's a totally reasonable defense. And when I said, I hope this gives you a hard on, I just didn't really want to like come on too strong. Like, I didn't want to say, like, I love you or like, I think you're awesome or I didn't want to make myself too like emotionally vulnerable. So I was just like, hi, I hope this gives you a hard on, like, whatever. Okay, but here's the thing. Plenty of women flirt with Dan Hentschel online. There are like a ton of them. Like, there's a whole like fan club for Dan Hentschel of like a big part of his fans are women. So, and a lot of them have a crush on him. And they talk about it. They comment about it on his videos. So, like, I'm not sure really, like, why I was, like, singled out. Right. So, like I said, I stopped aging at 22 in my mind. And I think that that's what keeps me looking so young and feeling so young. And just ready to, like, do whatever, but, like, party and have a good time. Okay, so at this point, I have messaged Dan Hentschel on basically, like, every platform I could think of to, not me specifically, but, like, the other alters who are more in charge of, like, serious things, like Echo. She has messaged Dan Hentschel, politely requesting to, take the stuff down because it was supposed to be seen as satire and it wasn't supposed to be taken very seriously. Just like he's a satirical comedian. I'm kind of a satirical comedian too, like, in a way. I mean, I'm like, I'm being myself, but I feel like, I don't know, I could just like do maybe something along the lines of what Dan Hentschel does. Who knows? But like in my own way. Okay, so yeah, in the apology letters, we said that, and we really apologized for being a bad girl on the Discord, and we really like said that we want to change our ways, and we really want to like do like whatever you want us to come back. But he hasn't responded to those. So I'm pretty sure that at this point he's just like ghosting me. Which is another thing too. Like, I know that this could be seen as sort of like stalker-ish behavior, but given that Dan Hentschel himself has like made videos about like him stalking his ex, I feel like he's kind of asking for it. I'm sorry, but like a little bit. I mean, I don't know. Either you understand or you don't, but like, it is a thing. Oh yeah, and also, okay, so Eminem was sort of a big celebrity crush of mine before this whole Dan Hentschel thing came up, But unfortunately, he has gone down a really cringy path lately. Like that last song he released, I'm sorry, but he just recycled his old beat, and that is really lazy. So, and also the last two albums he released kind of at the same time, Kamikaze and like the American one, were both just kind of cringe. So, I love old Eminem. I love the fucking, like, songs where he's talking about, like, killing his wife or killing his girlfriend, or the ones where he sounds like just a total maniac. Like, those are my fucking jam, right? But Eminem nowadays is like, oh, you're gonna have to really go back to the old Slim Shady. Like, I hope Slim Shady comes back and this is really real. But for now, I feel like he's just copying himself, which is sort of a thing I tend to notice that artists do, is like turn into sort of like old, washed up parodies of themselves, which really sucks for them. But, I'm glad I'm not like that. So yeah, going back to Eminem just isn't gonna work. And that means I have to find a new celebrity crush. Okay, there's always like Peaches. He's really hot. I don't know. I know she's dead, but like I don't know. I always had like the weirdest crush on Ayn Rand. And that's not to say that I liked any of her philosophy. Like I thought it was all like bullshit artistry. But on the other hand, that's kind of what made it so fascinating. So yeah, Ayn Rand is on the list. I have like a Chatterbait and OnlyFans, which I'm not going to share here because they're a little bit private. I like just being sexy and like doing that stuff so much. Like it's really a no-brainer, especially since I have gotten into lingerie, which only happened like a few, like less than a year ago, I would say. And it's like a whole new world has like opened up for me. I love lingerie. Like I love little cute little corset tops like this one. I don't know if this is technically considered like lingerie or a shirt, but I'm totally just gonna go out with it tonight and like see what's up. It also goes really well with these pants. Hold on, let me show you my outfit. They're like these rhinestone skulls, and I have on these nice velvet or velour shoes. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate each and every single one of you. Please remember to like and subscribe. You know what? Fuck that. I hate it when people do that. I'm not going to ask you guys to like and subscribe. It's YouTube. Like the like and subscribe button are right there. You'll do it whether I ask you to or not, if you're going to do it. And if you're not going to do it, you're not going to do it. So, I don't know. There's no point in that shit.